Howdy, folks. It's Meandering Mike in the Man Cave of Madness. I'm actually talking about my miniatures. I'm participating in a paint challenge for September, and it's the 29th, Sunday. The month ends tomorrow, Monday, and I don't have time to paint there. So I finally got 3 miniatures. Well, 1 finished. These are, I have some things to do. I plan on doing 2 of these weird floating spirit guys with big tongues, and I plan on doing one of these guys, these bone eaters, and I think it'll be at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'll have 8 done. I promised myself I'd get at least 1 done. So of course I had much bigger ambitions when I was starting. I wanted to do Takobaki Spearman and Takobaki Cannon. These are all from Shadows of Brimstone miniature game, and you know, I've got 3 of these swarms and 12 of these guys. Well, I don't have time to do what I have to do. I started a card game design class at the last minute, right before September, and I ended up getting sick. So my whole plans for, you know, doing as much as I wanted to went out the window. And that's okay, you know, because the whole goal for a painting challenge is just get more minis with paint on them than didn't have before, which is fine. So as long as I got 1 done, I'll be happy. But so I'm going to quickly talk through what I did with these. So here you can kind of see in the background the swarm. It kind of looks like flames coming out. It's almost impossible to do flame type stuff. And here's these flying swarm dudes. I'll talk through what I did with these. So down here at the bottom, the typical rocks and rubbles, I used was it called Monster Brown? All right, it was right here. Yeah, right, Monster Brown. That's from Army Painter. And then I used this dry rust as the outline of the honeycomb pattern up here. And I mixed the 2 together to do this base part down here, the overhang. I don't quite like how it comes out. I'm gonna have to experiment with what kind of wash to put on it. I did use some Monster Brown on these little overhanging parts here. So the Monster Brown, this is a mix of the dry rust and the Monster Brown with some Monster Brown over it. In the holes there are things that look like eggs. And I used this semi-metallic thing called Forge Glow and put those on the eggs. And I used some touches of the Dragon Red. The reason I used the Dragon Red is because these guys have these red eyes, and I wanted to do their red eyes and have that color tie into like the eggs. Like that's like they're sort of, you see in their eyes through some of them. So this was a gray primer, and I didn't want to paint all this inside of the honeycombs. So I used a blip, blip, blip. Where is it? I used speed paint medium to thin, and I used, wow, it is, oh, right here, Zealot Yellow. Okay, you can't tell it. There's a yellow wash sort of this speed paint thinned by the speed paint medium inside the honeycombs. Now, so if it was a white primer in there, you'd be able to see the yellow better. So I'm just gonna go with that. I mean, I can't get this glowing, fiery look. Not gonna happen. I'm happy enough with this. The only thing I'm gonna do to finish this is I'll, do a wash on the stone here and some kind of wash on this. I don't know. Well, technically under here, the underhang should be darker. So I might use some kind of dark tone and then just a light tone on that. So I consider this done except for needing a wash. Now these guys, again, I used on the bottom the same Monster Brown down here on their rocks. This is their flying sun. I'm not going to paint. I'm just going to leave that as is. These guys are blue here. Now, what I started with was this blue flame color, which was too light. So I said, I need to darken it up. So I got a speed paint, magic blue. It became too bright. Well, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some white, which, let's see, I mixed in here. No, where is that? So somewhere here I have a white called Rotten White, and I'll maybe dry brush that over. These wings, if you look here, are pretty light. This torchlight was too bright yellow, and I mixed in, where did that go? Here it is. There it is, that's why it's hidden. there, rotten white. So I mixed rotten white in there. And so those look not too bad. So I have to decide for these. Somewhere I have a thing called like fairy dust, either try to put fairy dust to make them look more glowing, kind of translucent, or I just might leave them as is. I'll probably put, just to help seal it, put a light tone on it, a wash. Now, he's got these red eyes here. Boy, it was hard to see the red eyes on these little guys. And so I'm over 60 and my fingers are not as steady as they once were. But I got, I don't know if you can actually see it. I got the red on there. That's the same dragon red I was mentioning that I put in on top of some of the egg things. But I'm gonna, I'll dry brush some light over the blue, and I'll probably do that. And I'm just gonna leave that red as, I'll probably take maybe just the tiniest white little flick to try to do like, light shining off the red eyes. So these are close. I'll do a light wash on the stones, and then I will do some basing material there. They'll actually be based. So this is all done except for ink wash. This will have some dry brushing and some ink washing. So that's 5. These are, like I mentioned, floating spirits from Shadows of Brimstone. Let me see if I can get one out there that you can see a little better. So I'm going to try to get, say, 2 of these done. I got 12, but I'll just do 2. They're supposed to be lanterns. You can see the handle. They got a big mouth and their tongue. So they're actually, standing on their tongue. Their tongue's so long. That's how they're floating in air. I want to try to use this. I've never used this. Glow-in-the-dark paint. I have no idea if this is a good idea, but, put that on the lantern. You're like, there's a glowing light inside, right? It's a spirit glowing lantern light. I'll try that. I've got 12 of them, and I'm just going to paint 2, so I'll experiment. I like to experiment. That's like I mentioned for these. There's 3 of these hives, and I did 4 because there's 12 to these. So I like to do like one set, try to mimic this art here. And when I do the other 2 hives, I'll do them a slightly different, pattern, and they're accompanying sets of 4 swarmer dudes. I'll experiment with their colors and things like that. But, that won't be today. I won't have time for that. So I'll do a couple of these, and I'm going to try to use the glow-in-the-dark paint. I don't know if you can see a single eye there. But so those should be fun to experiment with those. And then the last guy we had, this was a holdover from the paint challenge back in March. I had built these, but never got around to it. These are more Shadows of Brimstone. These are called Bone Eaters. I'm getting one out here. Here's the box over here. I'm gonna, whoops, bump. I'm gonna try to do it like this guy. Got to do at least one like it. So tan body, pretty simple, greenish, head, and then, I'll probably do just like a gloss varnish. I'll use some of the same green lightened on this like saliva hanging down there. I don't know if you can see it, but that is the saliva. And basically I'll use a lightened green and I'll put like a gloss varnish on it instead of matte to make it look slimy like saliva. So I'll get one of those done today. So mostly done except for a wash. Mostly done except for some highlights and some wash. 5 guys. I'll do 2 of the lanterns. 6, 7 guys, and 1 of these, 8. So if I get 8 done today, I will call it good. Way under my original plans. And some of the guys in the painting challenge have done hundreds. Sometimes these guys do 1,000. I mean, some of these guys are amazing, but for me, this is good enough. Especially this month with the course, which I'm really enjoying. But getting sick was horrible. And so that's it. So, it looks like we're at 10 minutes. When I get these all done, I might, quickly film those and splice that in. I won't upload this until later tonight. But so hopefully you'll have a chance to see those, but maybe I'll just post it. We'll see what we have time for. So, I want to say thank you for viewing. If you're watching this here on my channel and aren't subscribed, please subscribe if you're willing to. It's free. Like and comment and all that good stuff. And as I say, take care of your minis because they'll take care of you. Ciao, y'all. Howdy folks, we're continuing our discussion of what we painted. This is at a different angle, the light's different, but I hope you'll be able to see. So this is the Bone Eater. The green on the top was a mix of sulfide ochre, a little bit of goblin green, and I lightened it up with some rotten white. I put white on the teeth. The skin here is kobold skin. So his main head is green. He doesn't have any eyes because these guys like sense vibration and stuff. And there's like the saliva goo stuff here. There is gloss varnish on there. You can't really see. I've used this before on like the swamp slugs of Jorgono, and it was very glossy, probably too glossy. This, I can't really tell that that's glossy at all, so I don't know. This guy's basically done. I based him in that, so I'm happy with him. Okay, so that's a Bone Eater, one done. I mentioned basically what I had done with this. You know, I think the last thing I mentioned that I put the yellow mixed speed paint medium with Zealot yellow, put that inside the honeycombs. You can't really see that. I was thinking of like trying to do something. I'm gonna leave it. I'm just gonna leave it that way. That's good enough. What I did do was here, I used a mid-brown wash, an Army Painter Quick Shade, and I put that down on the stones in the bottom, and I put it, so this was the dry rust, the outlines of the honeycomb, and this color through the middle was a mix of the dry rust and this monster brown that was the rock. I didn't quite like how it was, but when I put this mid brown on it also, that helped a lot. This darkened up the under part, which should be in shadow. So I'm now very happy with this. This is now done. I mentioned the blue. In the past, I've not really liked working with blue, and this reminds me, I don't like working with blue. But so I had started with the blue flame. I put this blue speed paint over it. That was too bright. I did dry brush, not very skillfully, some rotten white on that. And then I put a blue tone on there, so it's okay enough. The wings, which were a mix of, I think, this Torchlight yellow, which was too bright, which I lightened with that rottenness. I ended up putting on, I think I put it away, but it's called an effect called Fairy Dust. And you can't really tell, you can't really see. I was going for like a more little see-through gossamer wing effect, but no. I had used the Fairy Dust to good effect for, I was doing some Lizard Man. I can't remember if it was both axe and or scimitar that were black obsidian. And I used the Fairy Dust on the edge where like the obsidian would be chipped to make it kind of like a shiny glass effect. That worked really well. But so, and I based these guys, putting a little, you know, rubble, dirt kind of stuff. So that's good enough. Those four, I mean, definitely when I do the other two of these, eventually, whenever I do that, I will not be doing blue for the bodies. I'm not really happy with the blue bugs, the swarm dudes, but it's good enough. These are done. So that's that 5 that are originally done. This is 6. All right, so these, again, are spirit lanterns, and they're something called like Ochinoboki spirit lanterns. So for the tongue, you know, so that they're floating in the air. They're spirits, but they're resting on their tongue in actuality. I used wasteland soil. For the inside of the mouth, I mixed some dragon red with that. Now, the lantern part was primed in gray, and I did indeed use this glow-in-the-dark Rust-Oleum stuff. You're supposed to put it preferably over white. So I went over this in white, and then I put the Rust-Oleum. You can't really see it. I haven't really tried to test it in the dark to see if it glows or not. Well, kind of sort of see it. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't really like it. Now, there's some yellow there. I did, yeah, it was the Torchlight. Those are supposed to be some weird eyes. And I'm going to do, that's the only, these are done. I based them and all that. These are, you know, so I'm 99% done before I before I finish for the day and I'm saying I'm done with my painting challenge, I'll do something with these eyes. I'm not sure what, but I do not like the little yellow eye slits there. So don't know what I'll do with them, but something. So that's it. 8. I finished 8, guys. My original plan was a lot more, but I think I mentioned that got very busy. I started at the last minute a class on card game design. That's been going on since the end of August. I also got sick at the end of August. I was sick for over 3 weeks. So this is it. The painting challenge, which started September 1st, you know, I had primed and glued some dudes beforehand, because that was part of the okay on the challenge, but this is the first I did any painting right here on the 29th, and that's it. I'm done. Not going to do any on the 30th because I've got class and all that stuff. So this is Meandering Mike, Man Cave of Madness, doing the painting challenge. This is on Mini Warmuts channel. I'll put a link in the description of this video if I remember. He has a Facebook group where he talks about these things. So if you're interested in miniature painting challenges or whatever, this one was called Go the Distance. And I crawled across the finish line, basically, and did a whole whopping 8 miniatures. So, and like I said earlier, I'll repeat it. Take care of your miniatures because they'll take a year. So these will be spliced together. It'll be about a 15-minute video. So if you got to the end, wow, thank you for watching 15 whole minutes of me meandering about my miniatures. Take care, y'all. Ciao.